He threw a big party at his house. Only 2 people didn't show up, Mom and Dad. They couldn't come. They were locked in the bedroom. Dead.
When the party's over.
His mom took his phone away, and he said he was going to kill her.
And he did. They threw a blowout party with his parents still in the house.
My eyes popped up. This is real.
Now his friend takes you inside the crime.
He showed me blood splatter on the baseboard. I told him that I was getting the hell out of there.
A tug of war over who's in charge. And his parents plan to stop him until he stopped them first. Killer party. Plus,
I don't care if you're in the Wild West. I don't care if you're in the hood. There was no honor in shooting somebody in the back.
a parent's nightmare. A good son experimenting with drinking, and then sneaking home and climbing through the window of the wrong house. Inside, a terrified neighbor with a gun. A look inside the investigation, and a heartbroken father retracing his son's last steps.
I was absolutely outraged.
When the party's over. Welcome to 2020 on ID. I'm John Quinones. The teenage years can be rough. Parents setting limits, kids pushing back, challenging authority. It often becomes a tug of war over who's in charge. But as you're about to see, when the stakes are raised and teenage defiance is mixed with a toxic cocktail of drugs and alcohol, the consequences can be deadly. First, a battle of wills that turn to rage. And as Ryan Smith first reported in 2014, 2 murders that would shock a sleepy community.
Nestled on Florida's Treasure Coast, 40 miles north of West Palm Beach, sits Port St. Lucie, a city once designed for retirees, now teeming with working families.
It's a maze of streets that all kind of wind together.
There's the sense on these empty streets that something's amiss. Even the street signs aren't quite right.
They didn't have time to spell all the street names correctly.
Growing up here is a modest sort of happiness for any kid, but as novelist Nathaniel Rich learned, that gets old.
Every teenager complained about how boring it was in Port St. Lucie. The only thing to do is drink and get high, have parties.
And it's a party that happened here that no one will ever forget.
Now you're looking live at the Port St. Lucie home where police say a 17-year-old boy killed his parents, a drug-addicted teenager who just wanted to party.
He threw a big party at his house. Only 2 people didn't show up, Mom and Dad. They couldn't come. They were locked in the bedroom. Dead.
The million-dollar question is why?
Tyler, they say you murdered your parents.
A 17-year-old killing his parents, an event that left a confused community looking to its teenagers for answers about high school senior Tyler Hadley.
His parents were getting tired of him going out late and getting drunk.
They got more strict. His mom took his phone away.
And he said he hated him.
Something like teenagers say.
It's definitely something that really upset him.
Everybody has like sick jokes, or you just thought it was like a sick joke.
But what turns a teenager's sick joke into a sickening reality? We go inside the investigation into what made a Boy Scout turn into a teenager who did the unthinkable. Mike Mandel has known Tyler since they were both 8 years old. He lived just a block away.
So you know his parents.
Absolutely.
What were they like?
They seemed like great parents to me. You know, every time I come over, if his mom was making something to eat, she'd say, "Hey Mike, you want some of this? You know, how's it going? How's your family going?"
And how did Tyler feel about his parents?
He loved them.
This is Blake and Mary Jo, forever in our hearts.
Blake and Mary Jo Hadley thought sunny Port St. Lucie was the perfect place to raise their 2 boys.
Mary Jo, she's a school teacher, you know, a great school teacher. And she loved kids so much, she dedicated her life to her two boys she had.
His family says Blake loved his job at a local power plant, but his passion was his sons, the baby, Tyler, and Ryan, 6 years older.
What was Blake like with the boys?
He had a ball with them. He loved them.
And in the beginning, Tyler seemed to be a happy little boy, celebrating birthdays and holidays with his family.
He was constantly hugging his mom. I mean, constantly. He was an affectionate kid.
I just remember him always being a funny kid. He had a really quick sense of humor. Yeah. And you never know what would come out of his mouth.
Yeah. In a good way?
Sometimes.
It was a quality that drew Mike to Tyler.
Just walking around trying to find a friend and stumbled upon Tyler, and he slowly became my best friend.
Over time, Tyler began opening up, sharing with Mike his secrets and his insecurities.
He a lot of times bashed himself and